Peace and love, everyone. Get the birds there to smile. I'll turn them down a little, maybe. I'll mute them in a second. Hi, Evaluate. Hi, Martha. All right, hey. Thanks for being here live. That's a red squirrel you hear. I'm going to get rid of the red squirrel. Goodbye. Yeah, they're a little noisy. Hope my volume's good for everybody. Welcome this morning. Peace to you all. Thanks for being here live. Thanks for being here by recording. Welcome to Not Church. No doctrine, no dogma, no Bravo Sierra. We explore mysticism in Christendom and beyond. I'm Peter Panagore, a two-time near-death experiencer, ex-reverend, a Kriya yogi, a centering prayer practitioner, a mystic, and a mystical nerd. If you're here, it's likely that you've experienced a life-changing spiritual awakening, or lived with a deep spiritual intuition or longing, or had a near-death experience or a near-death-like experience. We all seek to understand what happened to us, why we are set apart, and how to live with our new selves. It's not easy. By studying the greatest mystics of all time, we find truths to help us. I'm here to help you in this public forum or in private conversation, counseling, or consultation. After your awakening, if you're struggling spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, or relationally, and it's likely that you are, maybe all of them, as I did and do, as we all do after major awakenings, well, then I can help. I've helped hundreds across decades. So before we begin, I'm going to say hi to whoever else is showing up here. Hey, Janet. All right, my feet are flat on the floor. Take a few breaths with me. I want to settle in. I'd like to settle in. Maybe we can all settle in together. Thanks. Filling our bellies and diaphragms. Slow. Using your chants if you have one. Thanks. That felt good. We've been exploring Dr. Neil Douglas Klotz's revelations of the Aramaic Jesus, the hidden teachings on life and death. Why study this book? First, it aligns closely with my post-NDE noetic and intellectual understanding of Jesus. Many of you know I went to Catholic high school where we read a gospel a year. Now, after my NDE, the meaning of those words, the words of Jesus, changed. For instance, when he said, "My burden is light," he was talking about the light. The light is a burden. Why is it a burden? If you've been radically, transformatively awakened, such as in an NDE or some other major experience, Kundalini, let me tell you, it's a burden. It's a burden. Everything changes. Everything and everyone around us changes because we change. And that's a burden. The burden is light, but it's also the light itself. The burden is the light. It's light, and it doesn't weigh anything. A photon weighs nothing. It's also has no burden at all. It's this weird combination of these things. That's what I heard after I died. And for me, Jesus went from being God incarnate, like I was taught in the Catholic and Orthodox Church, to sounding like a near-death experiencer. His words illuminated my first NDE. I was like, oh my God, he sounds like me, like what I'm thinking, what I'm experiencing. But his light was buried by believers rather than experiencers. And it was buried under centuries of theology, doctrine, and dogma. And that's what we do here. We unpack that. And one of the books that I like to use is the Gospel of Thomas, which we're not getting into today, but totally worth reading. The Gospel of Thomas, it's super simple. But let's go back in history a little bit. Before we get into John 15, 1-4, from the Aramaic and in the Greek interpretations, etc. The councils, I want to talk a little bit about history. Why are the Aramaic Gospels one of the top three languages that Christianity had in the beginning? Why Latin, Greek, and Aramaic? Why is there no Aramaic around in the West? The councils of Eusephus in 431 and Chalcedon in 451 effectively banned the Aramaic Gospels, known as the Peshitta. I've mentioned it before, which remain used in these Syrian churches today. They're still using it. They were kicked out. The books were banned. And since I can't read Aramaic, I read Douglas Klotz's books with a critical, analytical mind and an NDE, heart-opened eye. And this is tippy. I got to put a weight on it. And if you find my work interesting or informative, or you feel the radiance inside yourself or between us when we're gathered together, or if you have an idea, please let me know in the comments. I'd like to know whether this is helpful. Now, here's a Koine Greek translation, which is what all the Gospels are from in the West, the Koine Greek. Here's a translation and interpretation by moi of the Gospel of John, heard through the ear of my heart, my NDE. And remember always that, at least to my ear, Jesus always sounds like he's talking about his personal mystical experiences. Okay, so he's not only telling us, his personal experience is how he got this idea to tell us. So here it is, John 15, 1-4. I am the true vine, the Christ consciousness conduit, and my maker is the gardener. The gardener snips off every branch of mine that doesn't flower and fruit. My maker prunes my branches that bear fruit after each harvest to produce even more flowers, attract bees, and give abundant fruit. You have been pruned by my living and radiant message, my gift to you. He's talking to his disciples. Remain in my Christ consciousness, and my Christ consciousness will remain in you. And the branches connected to me will flower and fruit. The vine is the conduit, and Jesus wasn't talking about his lower self-identity. He's not talking about remaining in him, Jesus, all right? He talked about the light source energy, benevolence, merciful, eternal embodiment of peace, infuser, preserver, omnipotent oneness, this thing that overtook him. And I chose to connect to that vine, the thing that overtook him, the peace infuser, because it is the essence that remains attached to me from my NDE. It got attached to me there. It stayed attached to me here. It remains with me inescapably. It set me apart from myself and the world, gave me a harsh pruning, and continues to prune me in my life's challenges. I've come to accept the pruning because the gardener causes abundant fruit in my life. I live in a bubble of heaven all around me, inside of me, showing me eternity in the now, in nature mysticism, and in my human interactions. And I prune myself through my own practices of non-attachment. The divine prunes me, and I prune myself. The cosmic Christ consciousness, it's the prana, unspeakable, experiential, exhilarating energy that powers all life, is all things, always. And Jesus, Yeshua, means this when he speaks of being the true vine. He's in the flow of it. He's the conduit and the flow. But he's not talking about little tiny Jesus. He's talking about this energy for all of us, is all of us. And now we're coming to the Aramaic Gospel of John, which illuminates this better. Here's my lightly edited version of Dr. Douglas Claus's rendition from the Aramaic. Listen, I'll read it slowly. Listen with the ear of your open heart and take it as a prayer directly from Yeshua to you as I seek to abide in the vine with you. This is from the Aramaic. Connecting I to the only I is the vine, rooted, giving, opening to life, a life leading you in the right direction, at the right time and place. The breathing life of all is the source and the goal, the seed and mystery within all the fruit of our hearts and manifested in our actions. The vine extends branches, receiving and passing on life. The life energy of a branch is connected to the life-giving vine. Whatever branch in us that doesn't sprout is pruned. Every branch that bears fruit abundantly also is pruned, so more fruit appears. Abide in me, but don't think about yourself. Be in me. Feel yourself as living earth, a creature, and the hands of Creator who prunes you to improve you. That means rest in me, the I am, the I exist. Be the breath of the breather, the vine rooted in the Holy One. Branches separated from source don't fruit, which prevents true healing, teaching, creating, channeling, or do anything truly soulful from an individual sense of your isolated I without being connected through your love and desire for me. The Christ consciousness, the light, the oneness of being all that is. The I and I is the vine, rooted, giving, opening to life, the outflow of sacred creation. You, I, are the branches connected, receiving, absorbing life, the natural receivers and channels for the flow, pursuing the soul's goal, connecting I to you, passing it on. Realizing I am grows the vine interiorly. Actualizing you are creates the branches of communion in the world. Energy branches, like tentacles of light, entangle me with this world. These tentacles of light, they are like fingers that extend and touch the light inside of everything around me. I think of that Tesla electric sphere where the bolts come flying off. It's like that. It's like there are tentacles connecting me. Maybe they're the heart chakra, a tentacle extending outward. Maybe it's my solar plexus or my root, or just the radiance of the whole of the soul extending and entangling with the light in all things. You can hear it with your ear, touch it with your tongue, be in it with your body. The burden is light. The energy flows through this conduit of myself. It's not mine. It's not me, Peter. It's me, soul, light. And it's not even just that. It's the eternal being itself beyond my little tiny soul, making my existence be, not just here on earth, but as I was when I was dead, the singular photon, the individual being in union with the divine itself. All of that here now. Stay in the flow. Stay connected to the conduit. Apart from the conduit, we can't do anything spiritual because we're cut off from it then. We're stuck merely in the world without this inner, eternal, infinite love connection that speaks for itself and sees itself. through these little tiny tentacles of light, these branches that connect us, going out from each other. Think of it as instead of a branch, like maybe a fiber optic cable, if you need some metaphor, touching all these things all around us all the time. And in touching them, touches the light itself. And there's this feedback loop that happens from that to me, from me to that. And so it's the divine consciousness, this opening of the channel, this presence of the flow comes through, extends into the world, transforming me and the world around it, around me, inside myself. When he says he is the true vine, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about this thing that you already are. He's telling his disciples, stay inside of the flow, because inside of the flow, you'll find healing, wholeness, wellness, peace, even in the turbulence of the world. That's what this passage is about. Hey, so that's about it. Thanks for being here with me. I should let you know your financial support is crucial to my being here with you. It really is, and I super thank you for it. And I'm very grateful all the time that I get to be here with you. And if energy has touched you this morning, if this divine presence, if you felt the presence, heard it with the ear of your heart, felt it with your heart, felt it with your chakras, please visit peterpanagore.love. Every little bit helps, especially right now. And thanks. Also, please join us at Mystic Tea Salon for our community forum for all things mystical that you can't say aloud anywhere else. I'll start with a story today with one of my dear friends that happened a couple of days ago over Thanksgiving that, like, okay, I can't really show myself. Here's my dear friend. I can't really show myself. If you need help formalizing your meditation practice ritual, you can join us on Mondays and Wednesdays live on YouTube at 8 a.m. And you can subscribe to this channel to receive a notice every time we go live. On Tuesdays on Zoom, we dive deep into Kriya Yoga and the Yoga Sutras. You're welcome to come. If you need help integrating your awakening, psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, relationally, I can help. Details at peterpanagore.love. A reminder, I'll be here next Sunday on the 8th. But on the 9th, I'm flying to Santa Barbara. I'm going to be speaking in Santa Barbara, California on the 11th at 7 p.m. California time. And I have a lunch meeting with my movie producers and conversations over the following week. I'm going to see some of our NDE friends out there in California when I'm out there. And I'll be staying in Pacific Palisades, right near Paramahansa Yogananda's shrine, like right at the top of the hill. All right. So thank you, Rose. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Casey, very much. KT, thank you very much. Kathy, I meant not Casey. Thank you, Kathy. I can see your smiling face. Appreciate the super chats. Hi, Amy. Hope you're staying warm too. Lisa Ann, wow, I tuned in at the perfect time to hear what I needed. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you, Lisa. That's the way it goes. Yeah. Appreciate it. Hey, Lupe. Hi, Michelle, Octavio. Glad you're all here. Kelsey, upriver from me. And thanks for the super chats. Let's meet in top of the hour. I don't see anything going on in the chat a whole heck of a lot. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for the super chats today, friends. That's very helpful. Appreciate it. But I'll see you in top of the hour. Oh, Logan. Gee, I should hang around for a while. This is great. Thank you, Logan. Thanks for the super chat today, Logan. I appreciate it. This is very helpful. It keeps it possible, makes it possible for me to be here. And I won't be working a whole lot over the next couple of weeks after, not next week, I'll be around next week, but the week after, it's going to be a little trickier. Love you too, Ken. All right. Peace and love, everybody. I'll see you at the top of the hour. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for being here live. Thanks for watching recording. Talk to me. Give me your ideas. Tell me if this works. Tell me if this helps. I'm here for you. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. You had the exact same experience this morning that relates to your talk. Thank you. You're welcome. Ellen. Hi, Vanessa. You're welcome. Thank you all. Peace and love. See you soon. Mystic Tea Salon, link in the description.